Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, coming back at you, bright and early on this 9/11. May we never forget the reasons why we unfurl our flags, hold a moment of silence, and thank our public servants for their sacrifices on this day 20 years ago. I can remember exactly where I was. I was in the middle of history class. It was my first period class, so it was my homeroom, and we were sitting there. School hadn't even started yet. We had gotten in there earlier, so we were waiting for the bell to start, and our teacher was off that day. A sub had to come in, and she came in, didn't say a word to us, just turned on the television. Of course, the news had hit by that time. It was around 9 o'clock, and we just sat there for the next hour and watched the news. It was a surreal day, and it's kind of surreal to me to think that there are a lot of you out there right now who probably weren't even alive when 9/11 happened, and you may not realize the absolute significance of it, but it was a day that didn't feel real. As if everything and everyone on Earth had suddenly disappeared, and it was just filled with a deafening silence. I know I'll never forget that day, and I certainly will never forget the sacrifices made by the heroes who went into those falling buildings and saved as many lives as they could. And I hope the US as a country remains committed to honoring those memories in perpetuity. But alright, let's go ahead and talk about some stuff today, because we've got some Destiny things to chat up about. Have you played Trials of Osiris this weekend? I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't, but a lot of people have. Of course, yesterday, Trials of Osiris finally returned to Destiny 2. This is the first weekend of Trials available in Season of the Lost, and it's already the biggest weekend of Trials we've ever had in Destiny 2. For those who haven't been paying attention, Trials of Osiris got some major revamps with its return yesterday. Saint 14 now has a reputation system akin to what the other ritual activity vendors have, so think Zavala, Lord Shaxx, and the Drifter with Gambit. He also now has a Trials engram that you can earn, that you can also focus, similar to the Umbral engram system we have with the Prismatic Recaster right now, meaning you can farm specific Trials loot after you've already earned that loot at least once. Fantastic change. They've made a bunch of quality of life changes to the game mode, so it goes faster now, and there's also no more ammo hoarding. Everybody's ammo gets reset in between rounds. Great stuff there. But in the biggest quality of life change that Trials, I think, has ever had, this is the major one. Starting yesterday, you can now play Trials of Osiris as a solo player. This has been an incredible dub for the game mode, and also simultaneously a gigantic L, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. I wanted to give props where props were due. Bungie has done something fantastic here. Like I said before, more people are trying Trials than have ever done Trials of Osiris in Destiny 2 before. If you head over to the Twitter page of Trials Report, which is a group that works with the Bungie API to build reports detailing the things going on in Trials. So how many people are participating, what's the most popular weapon, how many kills have happened. They have been putting out stat updates nonstop over the last day, just showing how much of an impact some of these changes have had. Here's a couple of the tweets they've got. First off, this is now officially the most populated Trials of Osiris weekend in Destiny 2's history. And we're less than a day in. Remember, Trials launched yesterday at reset time. By the time this video is being recorded, we haven't even hit 24 hours, and there's already more people playing Trials than have ever played Trials in D2. That's an insane thing to think about. And we get some numbers for that too. They made a pie chart about this. With the first million Trials matches out of the way, here's the division of how big fire teams have been, and then they break down how people are playing based on whether or not they're going in with a fire team, a duo, a trio, or solo. So, thus far, with the first million matches out of the way, we have had 2,077,781 solo players, 495,795 duo teams, and 1,027,829 trio teams, meaning 3 people had matched up, pre-formed a fire team and then headed into the Trials playlist. Basically, twice the amount of solo players are playing Trials as the amount of people who are in a full stacked fire team. That's an incredible metric. It means Bungie's experiment here has absolutely worked. We talked about this on the Planet Destiny podcast over the last couple of weeks. Bungie made a gambit here. They really wanted more people to play Trials, so they addressed a few of the biggest issues. Reward structure, and accessibility. Those were two major problems in the Trials of Osiris game mode. They changed the reward structure by making it more like the Crucible and the Vanguard and Gambit right now by adding in set tiers that will give you rewards. They changed their win structure so that losses don't really matter so much anymore, and they added a focusable engram so that people can farm trials to get the specific rewards they want. All great changes. And then accessibility. They made it so that people who don't have a stacked fire team can still participate in trials by going into the matchmaking and be matched up with other people. This makes it so much easier for people who are intimidated by trials because they didn't necessarily have two other people they could sesh up with every single weekend to go and run this game mode. It made trials completely inaccessible for them. Now that there's a solo queue, you can just jump in, be matched up with anybody else trying to go flawless, trying to get their trials gear, and just keep playing until you get what you want. This is a fantastic change, and the numbers are speaking for themselves. 2 million plus people have jumped into trials solo and been able to get themselves some rewards. So, I said this was both a major dub, but also a hilarious L. Well, what's the L part of this? It seems like it's all great. Well, if you're one of those solo players, you found out pretty quickly there is no fire team protection here in the matchmaking. If you jump into trials, even as a solo player, yeah, you're gonna get put up against stacks of people who are in fire teams and communicating and all that kind of stuff. There's no freelance trials playlist. For whatever reason, Bungie didn't add that in. They just left it so that you can queue up solo, but you're still gonna be matched with people who are preforming their fire team. Which I guess on one hand is hilarious and also pretty questionable. Though if I had to venture a guess, I wouldn't say that this slipped by Bungie. They didn't forget to put a freelance in. They probably just wanted to test the waters, didn't want to separate up the playlist too much. You know, they didn't want to cut that 1 million plus player pool that we're seeing here that has 3 people already formed up into its own separate playlist away from solo and duo players. Of course, that would probably create the same problem Trials has been having for the last, year or two we've had it here in D2. They wanted to bump up the population numbers of Trials, so that's very likely why they didn't institute a freelance playlist, but I just find that really, really funny. So if you are playing Trials, yeah, if you're solo, you can absolutely go in there, get to the lighthouse, get all that gear, but you will be running into stacks of people eventually. Or at least I should say, you have the chance to run into fully stacked teams or teams of 2 and whatnot in the Trials of Osiris game mode. Either way, I think the benefits far outweigh the risks here with some of the changes that they've made. Like I said, losses don't really matter so much anymore. Your Trials card now basically only tracks wins and whether or not you've gone flawless, and you can get rewards just by playing the game mode itself. I would absolutely recommend anybody playing Destiny 2 who has any interest in Trials of Osiris gear, go ahead, jump into that solo queue playlist, go have yourself some fun. Who knows, you may even wind up getting lucky and getting yourself flawless as a solo player. Either way, I think this has been an unmitigated dub of an experiment for the first week. Of course, it is the first week of Trials. We'll have to see how these player numbers persist in coming weeks. Who knows if the population is going to stay as high as it is right now. But I'm very happy to see some real positive results only a day into Trials of Osiris. This is like when they took away skill-based matchmaking, and suddenly Iron Banner was the most popular it had ever been in Destiny's history. Bungie's making some pretty good moves here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where they're going. But alright, just wanted to make a quick video talking a bit about Trials of Osiris. Those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. Have you gone into the Trials of Osiris playlist this weekend yet? What was your experience? Be sure to let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. I promise I'm going to be getting back to regular content real soon. But that's it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.